I'm trying to be focused there, but these spring, summer allergies are getting the best of me.
Yeah, if you guys, I don't know if you guys have noticed the past couple of episodes, Bro sounds like he's like Darth Vader. He's like,
Yeah, I'm always congested. Last night was so bad.
is it allergies?
Yeah, and it's only when I'm in the house. If I'm outside, I'm okay.
At nighttime, yeah.
That's unusual.
Yeah.
Outside, you should be dying outside.
No, outside I'm
now
fine.
It's nighttime. Yep, nighttime.
Inside
I
the
can't.
house.
Yeah, I can't breathe.
Interesting.
It doesn't hit until he's inside. So I
I
don't know
wonder
if
if
it's
there's
something
allergens inside.
inside the house. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I
have like a little filter in the house or something.
I'm about to change the filter more often, maybe.
Yeah.
See if that helps.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the AC when it's blowing right into my face. Like,
You guys turning AC on already?
yeah.
Yes, babe. Normal people turn on the AC in the summer.
This is like a month, right? Like on and off.
Our son asks me to turn on the heat every morning.
What?
Well, it's 60 degrees in the morning. I understand.
Yeah, a
It's
little
not
cold,
60.
yeah.
It was 70 this morning. He comes down, checks the temperature, and he's like, "Can we turn the heat on for a little bit?" And when I turn the heat on in the morning, he goes and sits right on the vent, and he's like, "Just." I'm like,
You know, this morning after you left for your engagement session, you asked me, "Hey, Papa, can we turn on the heat?"
yeah.
So mom said we couldn't turn on the heat, but can we turn on the heat?
I'm like,
I'm all left now.
I'm like,
Dad's in
kid,
charge now.
I'm like, kid, it's 70 degrees. We're not turning on the heat.
Do they walk around barefoot?
Yeah.
That's why.
But it's only the older one.
Yeah.
Like Grayson's fine. It's Aiden. Every
happens
morning
to
he
me
comes
too.
down. He's
But-
like, I'm so cold.
I can't be the only one. Like, we have thermostat wars every time the season changes, right? So, like,
I
Karis,
like that.
Karis' family, because her parents live with us and they don't do the heat, they don't do AC, right? So in the summer, it could be like 90 degrees in the house, and
Oh
they're
my
like,
God.
no AC, just open the windows, right? And then in the winter months, right, we're not turning on the heat. It's like fucking 50 degrees in the house, right? I was like, yo, we gotta turn on the heat, all right? Like, this is like,
But did you die?
like exactly, right? I was like, we're not refugees.
They're in like layers.
They'd rather wear an overcoat inside the house than to turn on the heat, right? I'm like, guys, we make enough money. We can pay for the heating bill. You know what I mean?
That's hilarious. Everyone walking around like an Eskimo inside the house.
We're like, we're not refugees. We can afford to pay the heating bill. You know what I mean? And then in the winter months and then in the summer months, my father-in-law is just walking around topless and basically nothing. You know, I'm like, Dad, you know, we can afford the AC bill. All right. We don't have to suffer like this. We make enough money, so we don't have to
you
suffer like
walking
this.
around naked.
So
Let's turn the
funny.
AC on.
There's no
So
point.
funny.
There's no point.
My mom just she doesn't like AC, like the coldness.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's the older generation mentality.
It's
They
quite
don't
funny.
Yeah, just parents are the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't turn AC or heat?
Don't turn
The
anything
heat
on
they
until
will.
absolutely necessary.
The heat.
So it's absolutely
They
necessary
run
for
out
my
of layers.
dad.
Yeah. It's more of the AC that they're very like. you know,
Yeah, more anti.
Yeah.
Yep.
Utilities are
Same thing. My mom.
expensive, so I get it.
Well,
Gotta fight it out.
they're not that bad in New Jersey.
In New York, they are.
Yeah,
Though. My parents
yeah.
live. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, if her dad turns the central air on for like a month, bill would be like $600, something like that.
Really?
I'll pay $600 not to be an Eskimo in my own house, or to walk around butt naked in my house. You know, I can afford the $600. You know. Anyway, you guys ready to start this podcast?
Yes,
Let's
we
do
are
it.
ready.
All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Focus Day Up podcast. My name is Ben,
I'm Karis.
This is Ro.
And this is Jen.
and we are Focus Day
Yeah.
Up.
Today we are, yeah.
We're trying to be.
So what are we talking about today? What's the topic du jour?
Today is all about you guys and
Again?
Well, I mean, you guys.
associate
Again?
teams.
Well, you guys have a little experience with
A
this.
little
too.
slight experience with associate
Yeah,
teams.
we tried it.
We'll talk
talk
about all of
about
it.
it.
We're
Yeah.
going to talk about all of
We
it.
tried it though.
I think what triggered this conversation or why we put it on our topic list was I think there was like that one stretch on Facebook for like a week where everyone was trying to find
Last minute.
associate shoot, not even like second shooters, like someone to be a primary for their business while they were doing another wedding, which
It's out
is
of control.
not the right way to do it.
Yeah.
So we were like, we got to talk about associates, and you guys are on an associate team, so learning a little bit about why you guys started it up and pretty much how to run one effectively. So
Mhm.
tell us about how you guys started that.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start from the very, very beginning, right? So when we started our primary brand, Ben Law Photography, that was around the same time we started our family. So at some point, Karis couldn't go out to shoot with me. So I had a whole bunch of folks kind of just help me out
Yeah.
for a year, 2 years, because we have 2 kids, right? So about 2 years or so, they were helping us out. And so when Karis finally came back to work, I had all this extra talent, all these folks who stuck by my side for a year, 2 years. And I think, other folks might have just kicked them to the curb. I didn't think that was the right move.
Mm-hmm.
They had purchased all this gear. They enjoyed this work that they were doing. And I had some extra work, right? So I was like, hey, guys, thank you so much for helping me out these past couple of years. If you guys still have an interest in doing this, I have some extra work that we can pick, you guys can do. Karis and I will take care of the sales and the post-production and all that kind of stuff. All you have to do is just show up and shoot. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll do it. So we started off the associate brand with 2 photographers. It was MJ and my brother Benson. It was never meant to be anything huge because, MJ and Benson, they both had day jobs. They had other Monday to Fridays, right? So I didn't feel the pressure of having to or needing to book them 30, 40 weddings a year. If we got 3 to 6 weddings for each of them, it would have been fine.
Fine, yeah.
Right? So that's what we did the first year. We had a couple weddings, handful of weddings that we were able to pass on to them. And then the second year, however, we skyrocketed to like 46 weddings.
Were they also under Ben Lau? Or
these were all Pro Paper.
so when did you guys come up with and how did you guys come up with the name?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever told us.
No, he did.
I think from the beginning
Yeah.
we separated.
It was always
Okay.
separated.
Always.
Always.
Yep.
There were a couple of reasons why we decided to have 2 brand names. The first one was we wanted to keep the brands separate because the thing is, if you're reaching out to Ben Lau, you should get Ben Lau.
Yeah.
I know a lot of other associate brands, they will have their associates shoot under their name, and more power to them. But in some cases, it's a generic name, right? It's not the actual photographer's name,
Yeah.
right? So
Right.
that's one situation,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But if you have other companies where it's just like Pearl Paper Studio, for example, right? There's no name attached to that, so you can have the owner shoot under that brand. You can also have other photographers shoot under that brand, right?
Mhm.
But if it's like John Smith Photography and his
John-
associates,
Yeah. And if John Smith's not there, they're gonna have an issue with that.
exactly, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why isn't John Smith meeting with me? You know what I mean? Or like, if John Smith's not shooting my wedding, I'm getting a second tier photographer. So the reason why we separated it was because when you look at the experience on the client side and also on the photographer side, I feel like it might be a little off-putting because on the client side, they might feel like they're getting a second tier product, second tier photographer. And then on the photographer side, they're like, well, I'm shooting under John Smith. I'm not John Smith, and I feel second rate. Not to say that Ben Lau casts a huge shadow or anything like that, right? Because honestly, my rate was only a little bit higher than my associate rate at that time, right? So the overage was easier to transfer, and we can go over that in a little bit, right?
Yeah.
My overage doesn't go to Pro Paper Studio anymore.
Where
They
does
have
it
their
go?
own marketing. They have their own marketing channels, and I have my own marketing channels. But in any case, we wanted our photographers to feel a sense of ownership in their work. We didn't want them to feel like, oh my God, I'm shooting under Ben Lau and I'm not as good as he is. And, we wanted them to have a sense of ownership. Like, hey, I'm the lead photographer for Pearl Paper Studio. And give them a sense of ownership in their work.
Yeah.
And I feel like when people have a sense of ownership in their own work, it's their baby. They're going to work a little harder for it. They are going to push themselves a little harder. Whereas maybe if they don't feel like they're a part of the team, or maybe they're not empowered to be more creative or whatever, right? They're just shooting for a paycheck. I don't think that serves anyone any good. So that's why we started a second company just for our shooters.
From the client's aspect of it as well, they'll be excited that they chose a lead photographer from that business, and they'll be excited to work with them. They'll know them a little bit better, opposed to just sending a body to a wedding like some studios do.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
Do they meet and have conversations with them before the wedding?
Every now and then.
If they requested, if the client requested specifically. But the clients from the beginning, from the inquiry, they get to choose, which photographer they want, the lead shooter. And then pretty much the process is about the same as, myself and Ben's brand, because they get to meet them for their engagement session.
Oh, right.
And then, so they build that relationship. And then, once they see the work from the engagement session, and then they'll be getting the same person on their wedding day as a lead shooter. So, and then, these couple for our photographers are, it's your couple, your wedding. So, they have
a sense of ownership, a
Ownership,
little more
yeah.
pride.
And you know,
that
that relationship building is definitely there.
Yeah, it's crucial.
Yeah.
Because I would say, how we went from 6 to 46 weddings for this other brand, right, for Pro Paper Studio, I would say a vast, vast majority of that was from referrals.
Yep.
Internal
Huge,
referrals,
huge
not
referral,
from Ben Lau. These were like referrals in
Yep.
their own circles.
Their friends.
Yeah, so it wasn't. I like to say that I contributed a little bit to it, but it was all their own work.
Yep, it was them. And then if it was MJ's previous couple or Steve's previous couple, their friends or family member will come looking for
that
Steve or
Steve
MJ,
Steve
whatever
or
it is.
MJ. Oh, MJ shot this wedding, and I want
Yeah, and they
MJ.
saw the photos,
Yep.
or they're part of the wedding
Yep,
party,
they've seen them,
and they're like, oh,
mhm.
they were awesome.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, that's the best route to go. Like
yeah,
referrals are the
best.
hottest leads of any other.
And we've been very, very lucky where we have a really solid team where the photographers, they do go above and beyond. That's where referrals come from, right? They go really, really above and beyond. They really serve the clients really well. And that gives a very great impression on, the clients. And that's where the referrals come from.
Mhm.
Yep.
So we've been very lucky that the photographers that we bring on board, for them, it's more than just a paycheck, just shooting for a paycheck. For them, it's they genuinely love what they do.
Yeah.
First and foremost, and they enjoy the people that they do it with. Because actually, Karis and I, we screen the inquiries for them too. So if it sounds like a headache client, we just refer them out.
That's when you send them to Moses Cruz.
Yeah, we send them to Moses Cruz, and we send them over to a JR photo.
So how do you guys, I guess, say, talk to or train your photographers on how to work with couples, kind of keep that relationship with them? Because I know for us, when we first got married years ago, the first time we got married with each other, we hired a larger studio that was an associate team. And it was kind of like, come in, pick their photos from albums, be like, this is who I want, see them at the engagement session, and then no communication or anything until the wedding. So it was very disconnected and doesn't have that personal touch that I feel like our personal brands, as like Ben Lau has with his couples or Karis has with her couples. How do you guys kind of talk to your photographers about how to kind of maintain a more personal relationship with clients?
Well, we invite the clients to, find us on social media and add us, follow us, all that sort of thing. Because the thing is, and we talk about this during the consult as well. Hey, listen, you guys are inviting us to be a part of this really intimate time in your lives. So we welcome you guys into ours. It's only fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys happen to find us on social media, feel free to add us. We don't bite. After the wedding's over, feel free to unfriend us. It's totally okay. Our feelings won't be hurt. But our hope is at the end of this experience, you guys will have gained a friend and a photographer for life. That's our hope.
Mm-hmm.
So I think many of them do take us up on that offer. And they do add us on social media. They see our food pictures, the pictures of our kids, our travel pictures, and things like that. So they feel like they're a part of our lives. Just like our own personal brands, they get an engagement session.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to hang out with the photographer for a couple hours.
That's good.
And that helps out with the relationship building as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of the magic also happens on the actual wedding day itself.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have too many touch points leading up to the wedding day. I mean, there's some things that I think it's pretty much industry standard. We'll go over the itinerary and stuff like that. But as far as like sending gifts regularly to them or, I don't know, stuff like that, I guess we could do a better job with that. I think other brands, I think you guys do that. That you have regular touch points throughout the year or throughout the planning process.
Yeah.
But we don't do that.
But I think for like an associate team, I don't think people really are kind of expecting that personal experience.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, they just want to know who's showing up,
They wanna know
and,
who's
and the
showing
work
up.
is good.
And I think my question too is like, but I think you've chosen people that can interact well with the couple on the wedding day, are more personable, friendly. Sometimes we work with the associate video teams or something where it's just another gig, coming in, coming out, doing what they need to do, and are out the door. And I've heard of photographers being the same way as well. But
we have a very stringent hiring policy. Like when we were recruiting and screening candidates, it's not easy to be an associate on our team. We don't just hire anyone off the street. In fact, we have some mutual friends who asked to join our team. I was like, I love you to death. I think you do great work, but you'd be a terrible candidate. I told them straight up,
what makes them a terrible candidate?
Because they have aspirations to do their own thing.
Okay.
So they'll just like learn everything and probably
And bounce. Well, not
Yeah.
just that. It's okay because any job out there, if you're the manager or owner of any business, right, you can't expect your employees or people to work with you for the rest of their lives. They don't owe you that, okay? So it wouldn't be uncommon for anyone to just learn everything they need to learn and then they bounce. That's not what I had beef with, right? However, where things do get a little bit muddled is like if they have an opportunity to earn more money somewhere else, right? So let's say a second shooter industry rate is $500 an hour. I mean, $500 a day, right? Or $50 an hour. And then a lead shooter is I'd say $100 an hour, right? $1,000 for the day. Why would they schlep around with me for $1,000 a day when they can get their own wedding for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000? You know what I mean? Let's say we're even being super duper generous, right? Because I know there are some associate teams out there that will pay their shooters even say like $2,000 for the day, right? You just have to do a little bit of culling and a little bit of some of the consults or whatever. $2,000 a day, that's pretty good. But still, even with that generous amount, why would they schlep around for $2,000 when they can make $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 somewhere else on their own, right? So like I can't be mad at them if they decide they need to bounce because they need to support their family, they got to put food on the table. I can't be mad at that, right? But let's say that they want to be loyal to you, right? Because they owe you that or whatever. They feel like they owe you that. I would feel like a shithead if I was holding them back from earning more money to put food on the table. You know what I mean? So for that reason, the people that I bring on board, generally speaking, they don't have their own business. They don't have aspirations to do their own thing. Or maybe they're just really terrible at it.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, they don't have the aspirations to do that because they don't have time for it.
Yeah, and it's their side.
It's their side money.
Yeah,
It's
their
also
side
not
money.
something that they love. You know,
They love it. They love it.
They love shooting.
Shooting, creative side of it, but they don't want to run like
They don't run the business
the
part of it.
headache,
Yeah.
the business part. Yep.
Yeah. They just
It's
want
not,
to shoot.
it's not
Yep.
for everyone.
Shoot,
Yeah.
shoot and burn.
So that's why, so people have always asked us, like, why haven't you scaled? You could definitely scale a lot larger than what you have right now. You know, honestly, like this associate brand is also our side money.
Money.
You know, that's why Karis is still shooting. I'm still shooting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't mean that we're not giving it any attention that it deserves, right? We're still giving it all our attention. It's just we're not doing it for the money necessarily. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think it works for us, for everyone in Pearl Paper Studio, because it's everyone's little side money, whether it's their gear money, little parting money,
Travel money.
yeah, travel money, fun money, like for everyone. I think,
Yeah.
because all our shooters have full-time jobs, Monday through Friday, doing something else.
Some of them make very good money
good
Monday to
money.
Friday. I should work for them. Yeah, one of them straight up told me, it's like, do you really think I work with Pearl Paper Studio for money? You don't pay me
it's
enough.
all their side money. We're like, we're the poor list.
We're the poor ones here, you know? They make plenty of money during the week. They drive rolling up in cars nicer than mine. You know?
So they really just do it because they enjoy.
Yeah, they enjoy it, and
Enjoy
that's the perfect candidate. for
And
us.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with making a little extra money on the side for
Yep.
whatever you want to do.
Yep.
And you know what? And this is not to say that we're doing it the right way. This is just the way that works for us and
Yeah.
our shooters and our clients.
And that's why I think we're like not aggressive, looking for like who wants
Trying to
do a
scale-
show-
trying to
who wants do a
scale
photo
up,
shoot
yeah.
for us.
Yeah. Did you ever want to scale at some point?
We're scaling organically. We're not like actively recruiting.
Slowly, yeah. If we meet somebody along
might be
the
a good
way,
candidate.
that are photographer and interested, and then they'll come on board.
Believe it or
But,
not, a lot of our shooters were Uncle Bobs at weddings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All our shooters
We
we
met-
met
we met at
organically.
weddings.
Yep. At
Really?
weddings, Yep.
Oh, they just like walked up to you.
They were like-
"Hey,
they were
I'm
like-
looking to get into it.
I think only person that aggressively walked up to us
Was
is Steve.
Steve.
Steve Capone.
He's listening right now. I was like, yo, you better retract that. I demand an apology and a discount code. No, but everyone we've on our
Yeah.
team, we've met either
They're like friends of our
current
past,
shooters.
Yeah, past bride and grooms, cousins, or bride's moms. Like, oh, hey, my son likes shooting. Do you want to meet him? That's Ed.
It's like, Mom, I got a good paying job
Yeah.
already. Why are you fucking me off to this guy?
Yeah, just organically.
We've been really lucky.
Have you guys come across any struggles with, I'm sure, running an associate team as far as like issues with clients or
Yeah.
emergency situations with shooters, things
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
All of the above.
Hmm.
Yeah. Where do we start? So what kind of problems have we encountered over the years? Well, number one has been the first problem that we ever encountered was really just more turnover. As we talked about a few minutes earlier, we had explosive growth in the first couple of years. Pearl Paper Studio just crashed into the market and just booking like crazy. Because by our second or third year, we were up to like 80 weddings a year.
Oh my god.
It was insane, right? So I guess people were just curious, like, what's going on in there, right? So, we had a couple of shooters, people who had their own businesses or whatever, and they would come in. And I don't know what maybe they were just checking out and see what we were doing or whatever it is. They would hang out for a little bit and then they'd bounce. And that's no good for anyone. So that kind of sucks. So after that, we kind of fine-tuned our recruiting methods, I guess, or our screening process. So that way, the people that we do bring on board, they fit a certain criteria. Mm-hmm. We've definitely recruited some folks who weren't a great fit for what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
But the ones who have stayed, they've made the cut. They're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
The very first problems that we encountered was on the recruiting end of things, turnover and things like that, because we were just figuring these things out.
Yeah, and finding people
that we could
not
trust.
off the cuff, and I think that was the big thing that why we brought this topic was because people were going on Facebook and trying to find, just trying to start an associate brand out of thin air just because they got an inquiry and we're like,
I have somebody for you.
I guess I'll take it because I need the money, but now I have to find a shooter.
Yeah, MJ, right? Steve, Miles, and Ed, those are our lead shooters, and they would shoot as a second shooter with me and Karis for at least 1 or 2 seasons before we would promote them.
Not second, third. They would come out.
They come out as third first for a season or 2, and then there'll be a second shooter for however long it took until they had the right portfolio. Mm-hmm. And if they still stuck around after we put them through the ringer, that tells us that their heart is in it. Like for them, it wasn't about the money because we didn't pay everyone that much. Yeah, because it wasn't because we didn't want to; we couldn't because we weren't charging very much. When we first started, I think we were charging $2,200 for full day coverage, engagement session, everything. We're giving away the whole farm, so we couldn't
maternity
afford
photos.
You guys would get like $100 at the end of it.
Well, pretty much. Like at the end of the day, our in pocket was maybe about $200 per client.
Oh my goodness!
But for us, again, it wasn't about the money. We wanted to make sure that we took care of our photographers. That's the other thing that I think a lot of other associate teams might struggle with. They're not taking care of their photographers, right? We want to make sure that the people who help make our organization successful, that they are rewarded first. We as the owners, as the, I guess, managers or whatever, we're the last ones to get paid. We pay everyone first, and I think with some other folks who are running associate teams, it might be the other way around.
And I think you're setting yourself up for failure if you're just
going
around grabbing random people to shoot for your business,
just to try to
the
bring
quality
in as
control's
much
not
money.
there.
There's a warm body.
And that's part of the reason why our training process is so long. It could take about 2 to 3 years before you become a lead shooter. And
then even I think for Steve and MJ both, like after they became a lead photographer, I think I second shot with both of them for at least a good year to 2 years. Make sure they because wedding is like a huge liability. You know what I mean? Like
you screw it up.
Yeah, you can't not redo somebody's wedding. So I don't know what these people are thinking. Even till like every day when our like photographers are shooting, like I'm always back of my mind. I'm like, what if something happens? What if somebody doesn't show up? What if like something got mixed up, like schedule?
Our people pretty much always show up.
Yeah, but our
pretty much.
Yeah, but our shooters are very reliable. They've been with us, for a long time. Yeah, they're family. But but we've had like typos in like itineraries, like like 11 turned into like 1. Like literally like typo.
Supposed to be there for 11 o'clock, but
11, but it
turned into 1. We forgot that
and then
one.
So like our photographer showed up at 1. So we had like one wedding like that. And we made it up with
prep.
They missed prep.
Prep. It was just prep.
This photographer will remain nameless, but when he hears this podcast, he'll know.
They'll know. That was my mistake because I was doing the itinerary at that time. So somehow it got erased.
But I mean, did anyone call?
The planner calls like, "Where's your photographer?"
Yeah, later, and
and also here's the other thing, right? You guys know as well as anyone else, I'm the biggest prankster ever, right? So we have a chat group at work with all our photographers. Random weekends when there's no weddings, I'll just say, hey, MJ, where are you? The video guys want to know where you are, right?
Your bride's looking for you.
They have no wedding, right? But I'm just like messing with them. And then they'll get into a panic attack. At this point, it's like the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
When there's actually an emergency, they're like, haha, really funny. No, for reals. Like, you're late, man.
That's kind of messed up to do that.
Oh my God.
So I can't make that joke anymore,
But that's like biggest,
Yeah.
worry as a wedding
Yeah.
photographer. Like.
So who do the couples go to for like the after the wedding complaints?
I take care
Everything,
of service.
to us. Yep.
So they know, okay, I gotta go talk to Ben.
Yeah, I take care of the service
yep.
because they deal with me for all the service stuff because Karis
complaints.
she's
Well, right now I'm not looking at any of Pearl Paper emails because
We have Abby to take care of it. But if there's a service issue, she'll forward it to me.
Mm-hmm.
But thankfully, because of our reputation and how I run the consult, I'm managing expectations. We don't really get too many complaints. If there's any complaints, it's because let me see here. When's the last time we had a complaint?
End of last year.
What was it about? Oh, that one. This one particular wedding, she didn't have anything going on for her wedding. There was no dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was pretty much getting high on the balcony.
Mhm.
There was nothing going on. So the photographer had nothing to shoot.
The groom didn't want to do any photos.
They were getting high.
They're all smoked. So
So-
reception,
so the bride was
no
upset.
one was inside.
The bride was upset she
yeah,
didn't get any
everyone
photos,
was-
but you didn't give our photographer any photo time.
There was
Right.
nothing, right?
So we offered to make it right to her. I was like, listen, I will cover the cost. If you want hair and makeup,
Yeah,
I'll cover the hair and
let's do-
makeup. Well, let's do some
we'll
portraits.
do-
You
we
just,
do
at the
bridal.
very least, let's do a bridal portrait, bridal session. She's like, oh no, let's whatever.
Yeah, no.
So honestly, I'm not sure we should have taken this client from the get-go, only because she couldn't really tell us why she was hiring us. So I don't know if you guys do this with your consults, with your own personal brand, but it's very important for us that clients tell us why they're hiring us, not just because we're pretty photos for a cheap price.
Yeah, we always ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you tell us, hey, we just like your photos, they're nice and you're affordable, like that's
Yeah,
we don't hire that
Then
client.
you don't.
Yeah, those never work out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So even if they book us, I'm like, you need to tell me so that way I have something to set an anchor to. You know what I mean?
Right.
And she didn't give us that. But the thing is, we were coming out of COVID. I needed.
Everyone was taking everything at that point.
I'll take everything.
Do what we had to
So this is why it's important for you not to work for money.
Wait, so
Right?
she was upset that there was no dancing photos?
Yeah, there's no pictures, but the photographer had nothing.
Number one, yield was low,
Yeah.
and the groom did even like bridal portraits, like minimum. He didn't want to do any photos. So
Who the,
If-
the, the group didn't want to do
The
any
group,
photos.
Nobody wanted to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like if
The
I were
group.
there, I would have covered my ass and I would have pushed a little harder for more portraits. I would have kept more inventory
right,
of
at least kind of like
Make sure I cover
force
my
it,
ass,
make sure
right?
you cover, but
and I guess that's the difference between working for your own brand and then counting on your associates to do what you do. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, your associates are not you.
but also this particular photographer is one of our very like he's very hands off ish on a wedding day, and he's more of less directing,
More candid, more
compared to
photojournalism.
all our shooters.
Yeah.
It was him, and
He's not gonna be pushy.
It happened to him, and so
Aw.
yeah.
Yeah, he probably was all right. They don't want pictures.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
like,
gonna.
there's nobody
you don't wanna
dancing. They're
push,
all
yeah.
outside, smoking up. Like, what is he going to do? Go
You're not
and
gonna photograph people
photos of
smoking up.
people smoking up.
Yeah, we probably would have done the same thing.
Yeah,
we don't
like,
ever
what do you
really
do?
push.
Yeah,
so.
but I'm always nervous that I should be doing more. So I'll probably get like table shots or like candids
Right,
of people
or at
at
least
tables.
candidates, or even like details, like
Yeah,
fill it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But
yeah,
just
He
just
got some
everything.
portraits. He got some
Yeah,
portraits.
he got
but-
some.
Yeah, it was just unfortunate that that particular client got matched up with that particular photographer. And in fact, she chose that photographer. And our photographer, he's solid. It's just
could have been an
bad
off
client. It was a
day.
bad client. It was a bad client.
Yeah.
Off day, bad client. Not a good match. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's sometimes the chances that you take with an associate team too. Like they don't really.
'Cause we get bad
have
clients,
that.
too.
Yeah, we get bad
Yeah,
clients too.
we get
So
bad clients.
it's across the board.
Yeah.
That's when he starts to question, why did I get into wedding
Yeah.
photography?
Yes.
I have a good paying job Monday to
hate
Friday.
my
Why,
job.
why am I working with Ben and Karis going through all this grief? When you're running an associate brand, you're there to put out fires. That's what you do.
When things happen, yeah.
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 So I think a lot of people get a little bit more preoccupied with the financial aspects of having an associate brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I get to make more money. I can scale this and
Double the booking.
double the
but nope.
bookings,
After you pay out, pay
Yep.
taxes.
Yep.
overhead.
Back ending, editing, like
It can be double the like you mentioned
Uh-huh.
liability in case something happens.
liability. Yep.
We had one photographer who around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night calls us. His call time's the following morning at 7. He's like, yo, I think I had some bad sushi tonight or something. I got some bad issues. Like, I don't know if I can make it. This is like at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Oh my god.
So me and Karis are like, holy shit. You know, like,
We
didn't
couldn't
sleep. We packed up all,
I think this was a daytime wedding. So like
7 o'clock call time.
Yeah. Like morning.
Did you guys have your own wedding the next day?
Thankfully, we
free.
didn't. So, and then if we needed to take over the wedding, we needed to like leave like 5 a.m. or something, right? So we were like we couldn't even sleep. We're like on, waiting for a phone call, like but thankfully,
like a tow truck driver.
Yeah.
Just on call, right?
Yeah, on call, right? All night. But thankfully he was okay, able to go to the wedding. I think stuff like this happened a few times.
And that's one of the things too, you have come across an associate brand. They can call you and be like, hey, I'm not feeling well.
Right.
And it's like, now it's on you to kind of find somebody.
Our
For us, is our main, we're showing up with a stomach bug.
Right,
No matter what.
we got it. Yeah.
We got to be there.
I'll tell the bride and groom, you might see me go to the bathroom a couple
I'm
times,
not
but I'm
feeling
here.
well, but
I tell my clients, I was like, listen, I've shot with dislocated shoulders, wrist injuries, surgery. I don't know if you guys remember this. I had surgery during COVID, right? I shot a wedding I shot
Coin purse surgery.
I had a literal hole in my body, and it was an open wound, and I was changing bandages every hour on the hour while shooting a wedding. Okay,
Yep.
like that's a commitment that I can't expect my associates to do that. Okay, because like they're only getting paid $1,000
As a
$1,500
business owner,
You need to. Yep.
you roll through the mud. You do what you have to do to.
I have people
Fulfill
calling
that.
out like, oh, I got to pick my dad up at the airport, right? And I'm like, are you serious? You're going to call out of work because you got to pick up your dad from the airport?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is somebody's special day.
So like,
How can you do this?
Yeah, so
Like seriously.
we can't have that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, so thankfully, our core team, they're committed.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
We have an amazing team. They're committed. They say they're going to show up. They're going to show up.
They're there.
And, I know that technically speaking, I'm not supposed to command and control, right? Because these guys are subcontractors, but they're also family. And I provide guidance to them. I tell them, hey, listen, guys, you're going to eat out, right? Don't eat out Thursdays and Fridays, please, for the love of God. Especially during wedding season. You're going to get sick. Get sick on Wednesday, okay? Get sick on Tuesday. And wash your hands, please, especially during the wedding season, okay? Most of them are pretty good. Like, they've been pretty good.
And then we always have, because we have like a somewhat big team, we kind of always have a backup person that's not shooting. That used to be me, but
now that she has her own brand,
but it could still be me.
It could still be me too. It could still be me too. Yeah,
it's me or him. Yep. But we always kind of have a backup person that's not shooting.
So lead shooters between the three brands, we have like 6 or 7 people that can go out. We always have at least 1 or 2 that can step in as a lead. So we never book out everyone.
We stop fully booking everyone. Yep.
So there's always at least 1 person as a spare.
Yep.
Just in case.
Yep. And then holiday weekends, we don't fully book. Definitely not.
Like Memorial Day weekend, we don't book.
Because second shooters are so hard to come by. And we're gonna,
But second shooters, lead shooters, and assistants are all in-house. We don't really, it's very rare that you're going to see us go out into these Facebook groups and look for associates and second shooters. It's very rare. If we do, it's because everyone is,
shooting.
Already shooting.
Yeah.
And it's like a dire emergency.
But that's only for second shooter. We'll be never looking for like
a lead shooter.
Lead shooter.
Because either myself or Karis will probably step
we're
up.
never gonna have a stranger shoot it.
Do you take your cut from there, the second shooter?
No. These guys are getting a bonus, having Karis effing Lau, Silver Award winner Karis effing Lau shooting their wedding, right?
What steps and stuff do you guys do to train them for a wedding day and kind of giving you the end product? I think that's another issue that people come across when they're just grabbing random associates from Facebook is that they'll get a gallery back because they haven't spoken to this person. They may have not seen a real full gallery. They just wanted to grab somebody because they want to make a quick buck that weekend and then complain about what was the deliverable.
Well, there's an onboarding process, like I mentioned earlier. They're assisting with us for like a season or 2. So usually assisting for a year, half a year, and then second shooting for another year or 2. And then to become a lead shooter. So they'll understand what our process is, start to finish. And what kind of pictures we're trying to get.
Don't you do like
portfolio review or gallery
and like
review?
A workshop or like a
Yes, I do.
We do workshops.
Once upon a time, I used to do them annually. I would rent out like a conference room and we'll go over everyone's images. But
that like models.
that wasn't efficient because it was only once a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Since then, I think in the last, I want to say 5 years, 6 years. Let me rewind a little bit, right? So I used to do one-on-ones with them. So we do a little screen share and I'll go over their work one by one, right? And it was a smaller team back then, maybe like, I don't know, 4 or 5 associates.
Mm-hmm.
We do one-on-ones. But that became a little harder to schedule as my schedule got busier and their schedules got busier. So now what I do is I review everyone's images on video. I record the video. I do instead. I guess it's not really a screen share, but I just record my screen as I go through their images.
Mm-hmm.
And each review is about 15 to 20 minutes long. And I go through all their images. Like, here's what you did really amazing. Here's where we can kind of improve this image or whatever. And technically speaking, again, I'm not supposed to be doing this as someone who's not supposed to be doing command and control. But this is provided to them as a benefit. If they want to watch it, they can watch it. If they don't, whatever. But I think most of these folks, they do watch the videos, especially if it's about them.
Yeah.
And it helps them improve their craft. As far as how we manage the quality control, as far as how we train our photographers, this is how we do it. You know, they go through a long training process, and then we have these video reviews, these gallery and portfolio reviews.
And then sometimes we'll have in person, like everyone workshop kind of thing, if they feel the need, if photographer wants to. We had lighting workshop.
Yeah. Oh, so once
Lighting
a,
workshop.
Yeah. So once a
Yep.
year, I'll still do a workshop, like where the whole team gets together and we'll cover one major topic. It could be lighting, it could be posing, it could be whatever topic I want to talk
Is
about.
it something that you're noticing in the photos that will trigger like what the next workshop
Yeah.
would be?
Yeah.
what
It's like,
they-
this
what
is
they
what y'all
need
need to
help.
work
Yeah.
on. And then I'll do a workshop
Yep.
like live. And then what I'll also do is, especially during the off season, I will work with them
Small-
one-on-one,
yep.
small
Small
one-on-one
groups,
workshops. So
one-on-one
I actually devote a
workshop.
lot of time to develop them.
Yep.
So we have photographers, you know, from Long Island to northern New Jersey, western New Jersey, and we'll just find models and we'll go shoot. I'll go out with them one-on-one.
We'll do like model calls, friends and couples.
and that way I can work with them through
Yep.
certain things, you know,
Yep.
whether it's flow posing or scouting or lighting, whatever.
Small
Because every photographer, it's just like you guys, you know, you have your strengths, you have things that you can work on, you know that you have to work on, right? And the thing is, because they're associates, they had their 9 to 5 during the week. You know, some of them, there's no reason for them to pick up a camera during the week, you know, but this is what we do for a living. So we're always messing around with our cameras.
Yeah.
So, so these little workshops that I do with them one-on-one, it gives them the opportunity to work on some of those skill sets without the, I guess, the stress or the anxiety of a paying client in front of you, because these are just randos that we're
Yeah.
picking
Right.
up.
Mhm.
to, do these, to do
Randos.
these little style shoots that we have. Because the thing is, there's no money on the line, right? So if we can play around a little bit more, we have the freedom to play around a little bit more. But
Yep.
here's the thing, right? Like, we understand this as owner operators. We really should be playing around a little bit more as artists, right? Instead of just playing with your safe shots every single time.
Yeah.
But I guess these associates, they feel such, I guess, I wouldn't say burdened. They feel responsible for making sure they make the deliverables, that they stick to the script,
Script. Yeah.
right? So I feel like sometimes they don't feel like they have the permission to play around, but I encourage them to, you know.
Now we definitely do, because I think all of our lead shooters are at certain level, like technical wise. So now we're like, you have your style down, you get all the standard safe shots. So like, be creative.
Go have fun.
Yeah, go have fun.
Do
If
what
it
you
works,
want to do.
it works. If it doesn't, but you have your safe shots, and then
They've
play around with
earned,
it.
they've earned
Yeah.
it. It's,
Yep.
it's the only times we have a problem is if like we have someone whom we're still developing and they go into the playful shots right away.
All creative shots.
But no, all the shots
and
are
then they all
blurry.
don't work out.
Everything's off center. Everything's with a touch angle.
The whole gallery is just tilt shift.
It's like, I appreciate you being, and I'll say this during the portfolio and the gallery reviews too. I was like, I appreciate you playing, you're being creative and whatnot, but please let's get some safe shots for mom and dad.
Yeah.
Like even though
yeah.
it feels basic as fuck for you, but
No one's gonna
And
complain with
it's
safe
also
shots.
the quickest thing to do.
Yep.
Like, just get out the
Get
way.
it done. Get it done.
yeah, I know you don't feel very like motivated and much gratification from doing all these, but you got to do
But
it.
certain days when you are kind of like, like blah, you go into a session like, oh, blah, I'm tired. But sometimes when you start doing the safe shots, and then you start, like seeing other angles and other shots, and you get into it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, so they
yeah.
train with us over a
Yeah.
series of years, and then we do CC on their work
Yeah.
after we get there. So I still do it with them. Like every morning, I record 1 to 2 reviews, and then it goes off to a video editor.
Do they take feedback well?
Most of them do.
Well, now because Ben's just recording and he's no one like the names are not there, so it's just anonymous and it's just video. So only the person that shot it kind of knows. But we I think we all kind of know who shot what. But because it's not like in their faces. I think, they'll just.
I'm very
listen
kind
to it.
with my CC. I'm very diplomatic. I feel.
Are you
but-
OCD with your CC too?
Am I OCD?
Like with like little things that they shoot?
Sometimes, I mean, my photographers might feel that way.
Because Ben has his way of shooting too.
Yeah.
And some like I don't necessarily agree with everything that Ben does, and
That's true.
yeah, he does. in his
You don't say.
shooting and posing,
Yeah,
right?
go busy too.
Ben's more. I guess he's very OCD with that kind of stuff. When put hands here, put hands there, fix that hand. When I shoot, I'm
There's no rules.
less of that.
There's no rules.
I don't really care.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, where it goes.
Well, for me, it's like, all right, maybe don't put the hands on the belly. That's a maternity pose. Okay.
Well, that photo wasn't that bad. It wasn't like maternity. You're just looking at it.
And these people look stiff. Maybe pop the leg a little
Yeah.
bit.
Mm-hmm.
They look
So I
awkward.
think only thing everyone
Shake it
needs
out.
to work out is pose them, put the couples there, and let them just watch them. You don't have
That's
to
what I do.
watch them, let them break,
But then
and
some couples forgive you. Like you're working overtime sometimes.
You're singing for your supper. sometimes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
When there's like all your bag of tricks just not working, and just like what am I
there
gonna
are
do?
couples like that. Yeah,
Yeah. But the really cool thing about our team is you tell them to do something, they'll do it. Right. So, hey, listen, you need to pose this way and they'll do it. Right. At the very least, at the end of the day, they're keeping me honest too, because they're like, hey, Ben, you told me to do this and you're going to complain now. So like, at least it keeps me honest. So I appreciate that too. It makes me a better photographer.
Make up your mind.
yeah.
But at the same time, like the stuff that I'm teaching them is really just the foundational stuff, really. How to pose and how to get people to look more relaxed so they don't look so stiff in the photos.
Right.
Now it's their time to
Inject a little bit more of the flavor
their
in
color,
there.
their flavor into it.
Like I can teach you how to make meatballs or tomato sauce or whatever it is, right? Like you might not like my recipe as it is, but at least it gives you a foundation, it gives you a basis,
starting point.
a starting point. So like this is roughly what it should look like, or what should it kind of taste like, or whatever it is, and then you put your own
And then
flavor
you
in
turn it into your own recipe. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So that's the kind of training that we're trying to provide to our associates.
So what you say are the right reasons and the wrong reasons for starting an associate brand. So for us, we tried it for a season.
For like 2 years.
How many of these gigs did you book?
It was
We
like
had-
3.
3 gigs.
We had 3.
Mhm.
So we learned really quickly. We figured, okay, our name is generic enough that it could just be, you wouldn't expect
you think,
general.
yeah.
You would think.
The name is generic.
The name is generic.
But the
So we were
brand
like, we'll
isn't.
just keep it all under, the same brand, the same
Mhm.
name. We quickly learned that when you book a wedding from a client from a referral and they're used to that Jen and Roe experience and they get someone else under Jen and Roe, you come across those issues. They're expecting the same level.
Well, they have something to compare to.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
if they don't have anything to compare
It
to,
was
We-
easy.
you
Yeah,
Did
we
land into
had-
hot water.
So we did. So that wedding, we had a couple issues, nothing too crazy. A couple of family shots were missed. The situation was explained.
It was a whole chain of events that happened that led to that.
It wasn't a major thing, but she did not feel taken care of in
The
the
same way,
way
in
that
the same
we
way.
would have.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
would have made sure that those photos would have been taken, would have taken the
She
extra
was a
step.
bridesmaid at,
I
at a-
understand.
Yep,
I
one of your
understand.
other
So the
weddings.
brides, so price wise, how far off was there? There's a difference
It
between
was
the
a
pricing.
small decrease of what we were
A
charged.
small decrease.
Yeah. Wasn't it like $1,000 less, I think?
That's not small.
It was about $1,000
No,
less.
it was 500 less.
$500.
Oh, okay, that's smaller, much smaller. Yeah.
But we were also doing the sales meeting. We were doing the engagement sessions.
Oh, it's just
Oh,
you're
this
shooting
couple-
engagement
you
too?
shot the
No,
engagement.
but this couple, we didn't have an engagement session.
Well, the other 2, we shot them.
Okay,
Sound
but
good.
can I
But the
finish the
wedding,
story?
other
So the one that we did not do the engagement session, that was the one that we had issues with, and we made up for it.
What kind
And
of issues were we talking about?
it was just the family shots that were missed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it
so
was just a sense of
we did the retouch up, fake got a few of them.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
We had
A
to
couple
do
were
a couple of
missed.
those. Yep.
Made it gave a parent out. We went above and beyond just because she was a referral from a major source.
You didn't
that
make
has
any money
brought
off of
us,
that. You
like,
might have lost money on that
we
deal.
probably did, but we needed to keep that referral change because their original referral source has given us like 20 brides.
Yes,
So
yes.
it was like
it all worked out because like a couple years later, her sister inquired with us. But we were booked.
The one that you made, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then her husband sent us a really nice email.
Yeah.
about how we made it right.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we
Oh,
went
that's
above and beyond. We
That's
didn't
good,
make much.
A
Barely
fuss.
made anything,
Yeah,
but
of course.
we needed to hold on to that referral source so bad. The other one, there was no issues because they didn't really have a.
Yeah.
They didn't come from another referral source.
Uh-huh.
We did their engagement photos, and they were totally cool with having someone different on the wedding day. They loved it. They had no problems whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that worked out well. The third never got to happen because it was a COVID wedding.
So you had
It got
issues.
canceled.
So you
yeah.
had issues with every associate wedding that you've had. There were always issues.
No, just
No, we
one.
only had
Just one.
two.
Yeah, two.
You've only had 2 associate weddings,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And-
third one got canceled because of COVID.
but the 2 that happened, there were issues with both.
The first
No,
one.
just the first one. The
Yeah.
one that was used to J&R due to like
Experience?
all their friends and stuff.
And they
The
didn't get that
second
experience.
one, no issues because they had no history with us. They didn't know us. They didn't have
And there
friends
was-
who used
yeah,
us.
You're
there
betting
was-
50%.
Yeah.
That'll get you in the Hall of Fame.
At that point, we were also paying everyone well.
Mhm.
So, it became like we had a decision together. Like, is this little bit of money
Worth it?
Worth it,
worth a potential problem?
We ask that question
Yeah.
ourselves every single
and
weekend.
in order to really make a decent amount of money, you have to like
need
build.
volume.
You
need
need
volume.
at least, like, in my opinion, at least 75
Yep.
to over
Well,
100
maybe not that
weddings.
much.
Yep.
Maybe not
Yeah.
that much, but
But,
And I don't have the bandwidth to manage that or the
Yeah.
mental capacity to deal with any issues that arise. Luckily, the timing was there that it was just those 2 weddings, and then COVID happened about 6 months later, and that was the end of J&R Associates. And it worked out perfectly fine because that would have really, really been terrible. I mean, I'm sure you had a horrible experience during COVID
oh my
having to
God,
reschedule.
we had like over 100 weddings we had to reschedule, but thankfully,
Fuck that.
yeah, we had over 100 weddings we had to reschedule. Thankfully, I want to say 98% of them we were able to reschedule them with their original photographer, right? And then
Oh, that's
1% of them we had to, do a little shuffling around.
Yeah.
And then 1% just didn't get married, or they broke up, or they eloped somewhere else, or
And
whatever.
cancel the main wedding.
Yeah, whatever, But thankfully, we didn't. Everything was just time wise, like they just got shifted. That's all. We didn't really. I wouldn't say we lost out or anything, but I mean, we didn't make any money for 2 years.
Yeah, and I think that's
Right.
what people have need to consider too when they start an associate team. All these emergencies, global events that could happen, and having to take care of X amount of clients.
Little problem becomes a huge problem.
Huge
though.
problem, especially when you're just gathering photographers that you know from here and there, and then having to kind of patch all those holes.
Yeah, but back to what you were saying earlier, right? About the client experience, about your associates are never going to be you. They're not going to shoot like you. They can serve kind of like you. You give them like not so much like a brand guide, but like, hey, listen, this is how we treat our customers. This is what you're supposed to say. This is what you're supposed to do, right? They'll follow those guidelines, but they're never going to be you. You know what I mean? And they shouldn't be because they're not being paid like you either.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And I think sometimes studio owners get a little angry or a little upset that their associates are not going above and beyond like they are. The thing is, they're not being paid like a CEO. You know what I mean?
Some people pay their leads and secondaries very well.
Even
Where-
$1,500, $2,000. They're still
Yeah.
not getting paid the CEO money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but if that's not, if you don't want to run a business, that's a pretty sweet deal. You show up, shoot, do what you love, and walk away with $2,000. Like, that's a lot better than second shooting 100 times a year.
Yeah. So we actually had an experience similar to you, where it was a long referral train. This train dates back all the way to 2010. Okay, we shot all the friends, shot all the bridesmaids, made multiple 6 figures from this referral train.
Mhm.
And this one bridesmaid, she was not able to book me because I was unavailable. And her photos, I still stand by it, given the circumstances of the day. Our photographer did a pretty solid job. All right. I think her beef was like when she finally got to see me at work again after the fact.
Oh, okay. So she had her wedding and then saw you.
Oh, she's seen me at other weddings before too, right?
But then she was able to recompare when she saw you again after the
Right.
wedding.
She's like, the experience that I got is not the same as what you gave my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you're also paying half the price as well. You know, like you got your money's worth, really.
Mm-hmm.
It's just someone complaining just to complain.
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. I don't know, right? But anyway, we made it right to her. I was like, listen, you know, we don't feel like we bait and switched anyone because during the consultation process,
She knew what she was getting.
exactly. It's not like, hey, this is one portfolio and then you're getting someone else. You know, I was very comprehensive in my presentation. Like, hey, listen, this is what you're gonna get. These are all the photos. We sent galleries and stuff. Like, this is what you're gonna get. You know, but at the end of the day, it's not just about the final product. The photos themselves are not the final product. The experience is also part of that final product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's very important to emphasize when you're starting an associate team and you're speaking to potential clients, because I think how we were communicating it was definitely more about the final product. Like your image is going to be just as great. They're beautiful. You know, they're going to be. We hire people that work similar as us. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, because the images were great.
Yeah, but just did not even take into account the day of experience or communicate with this photographer about how we run things behind the scenes. It was kind of more of like, I trust you to run a wedding day, go ahead, but not realizing there was little holes in that process.
Yeah, there were a couple. Well, another issue as well about the timeline meeting.
What?
We had agreed that the photographer would do like a introductory phone call after the booking, introduce themselves, and then do a timeline meeting as well, so they know how the days are
Your
unfold.
associate would do the timeline meeting?
Right. Yeah. And our associate missed or forgot the timeline meeting. So she brought that up as well during our, with the issue that she had during the wedding day. You know, she remembered that as well, and that kind of triggered some red flags for her. Which, you know, Jen and Ro would never miss a timeline meeting. That's just the way we are. Like, so there was a couple of factors, and it goes back to like you said, like, you know, they're not the CEO, so they're not going to treat your business the same way that you treat your business.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, this is not to say that, you know, all associates are the same way. Because I do feel like my associates, they do go above and beyond.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of them, you know, if, let's say they're supposed to clock out at 10, but the cake's coming out at 10:05, then they're going to stay forever long. You know, and that's the culture that we've kind of instilled with our team.
What happens if they stay like even later? The client, like
usually I say after 30 minutes we start prorating the OT, right?
Yeah,
but we
do you invoice the client afterwards, or do they have that talk with the client on the day of?
we will. Well, the photographers will reach out to us. Hey, listen, this is going like way over OT. I don't mind spending another 15 minutes with these guys.
Yeah.
But now we're going to almost an hour. Right?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, we'll send an invoice after the fact.
Okay.
But it's just not usually a surprise. We usually have the photographer go up to the brand. Hey,
just tell them, hey,
do you need us to stay? I mean, if we're good, then we'll head out. But you know, but if you need us to stay, we'll stay. And we'll just have Ben square up with you later.
Invoice, yeah.
Yeah, but it's very rare.
Yeah, because as soon as they hear invoice, as soon as most people hear invoice, they're like, all right, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what,
But
we got everything.
the way that I frame it for our associates is that you know, you don't have to stay for the extra 15 minutes. You know, but then again, they don't have to refer you. They don't have to tip you. You're not contractually required to stay.
Yeah.
They're also not contractually required to refer you or to tip you.
But it also goes back to like that mentality of like, you know, I'm just a
hired
shooter.
gun. I'm just a hired gun, right?
Yeah, the same way when I worked a 9 to 5. Like if I didn't, it was time to clock out.
5 o'clock out.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes over, to me at least, was acceptable. But anything more than that, like I want to make sure that I get paid accordingly, and that's the other factor of hiring contractors is that issue of going above and beyond. Sometimes means they have to stay a little later. Some people are okay with this, people are not.
Yeah, I never want to be that boss. You know,
Yeah.
like overbearing, like have people feel like they're not valued.
Yeah,
That they're underpaid or anything like that. That's great if you can find associates who can deliver a very similar experience as you can deliver. Okay.
Yeah.
And you find someone who's willing to go above and beyond the way that you do. All right. You try to keep that associate. Never let them go. Okay. But at the same time, you know, as the business owners, we can't expect that from everyone. You just got to be realistic about it. And also we have to be kind of like forthcoming with the clients too. Hey, listen, you know, like, yes, I know you're meeting with me right now, but you know, I'm not the one who's shooting your wedding.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Okay. Like, I love my associates, but my dad jokes are better. right?
They're okay.
And I'll tell them straight up, I got one guy who might have me, running for my money, right? Or giving me a run for my money. But, it's not me who's shooting your wedding. All right, someone else. So just make sure that you look at their portfolio, make sure it aligns with what you're looking for. Okay.
So you'd mentioned earlier that your overage from Ben Lau and Hey Karis no longer goes to Pearl Paper. Why is that?
Right. So when we first started, the portfolio was similar-ish. Okay. The work, there wasn't a huge difference. I guess at the end of the day, the experience might be a little bit different, but the portfolio is very similar. So pricing-wise, I think there was a difference of maybe $500. I think we're looking at like a difference between like $3,500 to $3,000. Actually, no, maybe like $3,000 to $2,500. Right. So I was charging maybe 3,000 ish, and PPS was like 22, 25. So that worked. Okay.
Yeah.
Some of my overage, we were able to switch it over to PPS,
yeah.
right? But as my work evolved towards a certain type of style, so did theirs. So sometime around 2000, I want to say 16 or 17, our styles started to diverge a little bit, and there's nothing bad about any style. It's just, I was shooting a certain way, and I wasn't going to force him to shoot my way. You know what I mean? I was experimenting a lot more, and certainly I had the license to do that. But with an associate brand, here's the other thing that a lot of people don't understand. When people are looking up an associate brand, they're booking an associate brand, those clients are expecting a certain quality of work. They're expecting a certain type of portfolio. If you have, like, let's say 5 shooters, they're all shooting different styles, that client doesn't know what they're going to be signing up for, right? So when that brand is inconsistent, it's harder for you to market and sell that because clients don't know what they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
So for that reason, everything that we were showing for Pearl Paper, it was a certain style of work. And it spoke to that target audience really well. So that's why we were able to attract that audience and book them. Whereas my personal brand, I was able to experiment a little bit more. I can take the hits if I were to lose clients or whatever. So the styles diverged a little bit. So because of that, the audience profile also changed. My clients usually, or my inquiries usually don't book Pearl Paper Studio and vice versa. Because with Pearl Paper Studio clients, the clients like to know what they're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
It's pure style.
Yeah, it's just pure style.
It's style and what they're looking for. Because when they come looking at Ben Lau's portfolio, they see, I think, a lot of them are, it's fun.
There's some fun stuff in Pearl Paper Studio stuff too.
Yeah, but mainly you're fun and wacky, and
very wacky
and weird. Yeah, weird.
Weird,
some
very
people,
weird.
Yeah, some people.
Pearl Paper Studio is not weird. I'm very weird.
Yeah,
right?
Pearl Paper is not weird. I think me and Ben, we are more weird, and
very weird.
We could get away with it, I guess.
That's what I mean. Like
because that's what kind of clients that we speak to. The weirdos, the fun ones. The odd ones.
No. You can't say that. Pearl Paper Studio clients are also very fun. Right, but it's their fun. It's fun in their way.
Yeah,
right?
different ways, different styles.
Yeah.
But
I think you were smart enough to make the conscious decision instead of saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna send this Pearl Paper just so I can make extra money." You were more of like, I will set myself up for failure if I recommend this couple that reach out to Ben Lau and send them a Pearl Paper and then they get something different.
Right.
You're just setting yourself up for failure.
Yep.
And I mean, it's the perfect scenario. You already have this funnel coming in. So why not use it to your advantage? But you're wise enough.
I think that's what where a lot of associate brands struggle is that they have all these clients coming in for their personal brands, and they have this overage now because they can't take the wedding for whatever reason, and then they try to refer to this associate. But the thing is, the experience, for better or worse, it's not going to be the same experience. The client experience is not going to be quite the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've yet to meet an associate brand owner who has internal referrals, right? A lot of the referrals are coming from the primary brand. I mean, as long as it's sustaining their bookings, then it is what it is, right? But for us, all 3 of our brands, they serve different markets.
Yeah.
And therefore, the overage does not go from one to the other. My clients don't book Hey Karis. Hey Karis clients don't book me.
Mm-hmm.
Karis is even more weird than I am.
She has the cooler clients out of everybody here.
Right?
Chill, fun ones.
Very. So
she has the chic New York City people.
I'm definitely not cool enough to book Hey Karis clients. You know what I mean?
None of us are.
True. Yep. True that.
Yeah.
So do you have because I know you're preferred vendors in some venues.
Right.
Do you have some venues that refer out your personal brands and Pearl Paper?
Some do.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we have one venue that promotes both. Actually, 3 of us now.
All of us. Yep.
Yep. And then we have.
Take your pick.
Who do you want? You got the regular one, we got the weird one, and the really weird one.
Extra weird.
What level of
Whatever
weirdness
you
do you want?
Pick your spice level.
Pick your spice level.
Dry rub.
Pretty much, right? Yeah. We have some venues, and then we also have some venues that refer just Pearl Paper Studio. They don't refer me or Karis because maybe that venue speaks to a certain type of audience, and Karis and I would not be able to convert those kinds as much.
Or the photographers from the brand have created a good connection with the venue.
Yeah, we are our photographers. They also do, because this is the way that we train them. They have great relationships with not just the clients, but also with a lot of the vendors that we work with. So some of these venues is like, oh my God, I love Pearl Paper Studio. You guys are amazing. So we got to get you guys back in here. And that's how we get those venue relationships.
So what else do you think people should know or learn about when they want to start an associate brand?
Well, the thing is, if you're going to do it, you want to make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. You want to do it the right way. I think a lot of times, again, I mentioned before, a lot of people fall into the trap. They get a little preoccupied with all the dollar signs. Yeah. That they think
they're going to get.
Yeah, they think they're going to get. But a lot of headaches come along with those dollar signs, So the thing that I wanted to talk about, when people are deciding on whether or not they're going to start an associate brand, really just evaluate what are your motivations for doing this. You know what I mean? I mean, it's not, at the end of the day, we're all business owners. We're all trying to make a buck. All right? I understand that. I'm not poo-pooing on anyone's ambitions to do it because they're trying to make money. Okay? But at the same time, if you're going to do it, just make sure you're taking care of the clients. You know what I mean? Don't just take the booking without having coverage for that client. The huge problem that I'm seeing is that, people are booking the clients, they're taking the bookings without actually having coverage. You know what I mean? So they're just hiring randos out there in the universe. They're using platforms to just hire associates last minute. And then these are just randos. They don't know who these people are. You know what I mean?
And they're setting themselves up for a disaster.
Exactly.
Yeah, for a lot of issues.
Yeah, there's going to be a whole bunch of issues.
Liability.
Yeah. So in those cases, my advice is to just refer the business out. If you're trying to make extra money in your business, I think you're going to get a higher ROI by referring your business to your colleagues or referring it to the associate that you're going to hire. Okay. Because the thing is, they might take the associate gig now, right? But if you set them up for success, they're going to remember that nice deed that you did for them. When they become big and famous and all that kind of stuff, all that good juju that you put out there is going to come back to you. Exactly. So instead of making, let's say, $200, $500, or even $1,000 off an associate deal, I think I would rather make another $3,000, $5,000 getting a gig of my own when that referral comes back. And I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback. We're going to get some angry emails like, who the hell does this guy think he is telling me that I'm not allowed to make my,
No, I don't think so. I think it's...
You are allowed to do whatever you want, but you
think of the clients.
Yeah, think of the clients, and it's a huge liability. You know what I mean? And imagine it was your own wedding, and you got a photographer like that. You know what I mean? Just somebody stranger, just come,
some random,
shooting your wedding. You don't even know if they're gonna deliver what they promised. You know what I mean?
That's how this person in Long Island got into trouble. I don't know if you remember. There's a guy in Long Island. There's another one in Chicago or somewhere in the Midwest, right? They got this associate brand. They got all these bookings, right? But what happened was, I think, number one, they paid themselves first and foremost, right? So they didn't have money to pay the contractors. And then the contractors said, well, you're not going to pay me. I'm not going to give you the cards.
Cards, yeah.
Right? So they couldn't even work on the cards if they wanted to, right? And then they couldn't edit the photos either. I guess this was before Imagine AI and Aftershoot, right? So they're like, oh, well, I don't know how to edit, or the people that I was trying to hire to edit these photos, I can't afford them, and I don't know how to edit myself. I'm like, don't start an associate brand then, You got to figure out.
That's the other thing too. Like you mentioned, not even just photographing the wedding, but the admin work, the editing.
There's a lot of back-end stuff.
Back-end stuff that people fail at when they scale so quickly and don't know how to manage a larger business.
If there's one thing that we did correctly was that we didn't grow Pearl Paper Studio aggressively to the point where the wheels just fell off the wagon. All right. We always pump the brakes. Okay, guys, we can't take any more bookings because I don't think we can secure second shooters. I don't think we like. There were some times when we were like, we can't take this booking because we don't have the coverage. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we'll figure it out when we get to it. Like, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
No. And I think that's where a lot of people find themselves in hot water.
And we've worked for associate brands in the past, and they just scale because they see dollar signs and then scrambling to find shooters. Editing never gets done. And then you're like, people know how to find us. They know how to find us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And are asking for all their stuff. Or we've completed our obligation, did the editing, delivered it, but then that person never delivers to the client.
Yeah, and when you're the associate brand owner, the buck stops with you, right? Win or lose, everything is your responsibility. You're accountable for everything.
Yep.
So you got to be prepared for that if you're starting an associate brand. It's not as sexy as it looks.
At all.
No.
It's a lot of work for the money that you're getting for the return.
Yeah, it can be financially rewarding, but there's a lot of work, there's a lot of risk, a lot of liability that goes along with that.
Yeah. I think a lot of your systems have to be in place administratively,
Post-production,
everything in between. It's not just showing up to the wedding and photographing it.
Yeah, it's not just finding a warm body with a camera to send to the wedding.
It has to be the right candidate for your business as well.
Yeah.
100%. So anything else that we can talk about regarding associate brands? Starting one, maintaining one, growing one?
Just definitely doing your research, talking to a lot of other associate
Brand owners?
successful brand owners, not people who are just that you see posting looking for photographers last minute.
Yeah.
Speaking to those people, doing your research. I think that's one thing we didn't do was really dive into what it really entails, and quickly learning it wasn't for us, and that's fine too.
You know, you guys know where I live. You guys should have.
It's probably something
No,
that,
I mean, we did speak to a few people. It just,
I mean, we can't shoot weddings for the rest of our lives.
yeah.
So
I
at
don't know
some
if I would
point-
ever want to get into it again.
At some
Clearly,
point-
we're saying we have differing
No.
opinions here,
No,
but
what I'm saying, at some point we'll probably think about it and just talk it over again and see if that's a route we want to take. For right now, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Like,
you guys are doing really well. So I mean,
yeah, I would say just
There's
don't
no
force it
urgency
on
there.
yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It also makes us more exclusive.
We're very exclusive right now. So the hot topic of the day is I saw a post on Facebook where someone had a client reach out to them post-wedding that please delete photos of my husband's brother because at the end of the wedding
He shanked somebody.
he stabbed another guest.
was there an ambulance called?
I assume so. The photographer, I guess, had left at that point and didn't even know this event had occurred. But essentially was saying, like, I don't want to see any photos of
This brother.
this brother in any of my pictures
He was the
from the
best
wedding.
man, no?
I guess. I
Yeah,
would
he was the
assume
best
so.
man.
I don't know the unique details. So my question for you guys, have you guys ever had an instance where A, people would email you and ask to delete certain things?
Oh yeah, we had it
Yeah,
recently.
oh, yeah, yep.
Really? What did they ask you to delete?
This is your question.
You had someone ask you to
I
delete?
did.
Or PPS had someone, you got to take out a picture because of something or other. A picture that had to be removed from the gallery.
That was stationary because it had personal like info, like
Oh,
address.
so
or, like,
personal
yeah,
things.
that was most recent. It was that. We've had
so when other people see their
yeah, like
friends.
address or something. And we've had requests as like, oh, can you take this photo down because they're not together anymore? Like brothers, like current girlfriend, but now
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not together anymore. So we had several requests like that, like no longer like sibling no longer together with that couple. So well, now we do like one with that girlfriend or boyfriend and without. So you know,
So you don't
in
have those
case, yeah, in
issues,
case
yeah.
they break up, you have
Well, there's
all of
AI
it.
now that can remove everybody.
yeah, definitely, yep, making all
That'll
our
come in
lives
handy.
easy. Yep. All right, we'll just remove him. Boom. But yeah, nothing stabbing or killing someone.
Yeah, I don't think we only had one years ago where the groom's mom did like an uncompromising position on the dance floor with one of the groomsmen during that Meatloaf song. What was the song?
I forgot.
Mom did?
Yeah.
Compromising position?
Yeah, there was a lot of alcohol involved at that wedding.
Go ahead, Mom.
So they were
Yeah.
battling during that Meatloaf song. I can't think off the top of my head right
And
now.
she got she got really close to him.
And then went
dancing,
down,
And then he just pushed her head like
down.
all the way down to his midsection. So from certain
Who's
angles,
the guy?
it
Was
wasn't
this a guest?
It was a groomsman.
It was a group. No, he wasn't a group. He was a guest.
Was Mom
Yes.
single? Was Dad there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dad was there.
everyone was there.
Everyone was just drunk.
Yeah.
And then I guess when we delivered the gallery, she saw the photo.
Yeah. I was like, remove that, please.
Yeah.
So
Which is fine.
the groom emailed us, "Can you please delete this image of my mother?"
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, if they wanted us to remove from the gallery, that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
Part B to that question is, have you ever had like a crime or anything happen on your watch? Or like an
Ooh.
incident or mishap
With a
or...
fight. fight breakout.
Oh my God. You want to
Yeah.
hear about a fight? We actually had a fight breakout at a wedding.
This was like we were
Getting ready to wrap up.
packing up our bags.
We were going to do night shots. We were going to do a
Yeah.
sparkler exit and then head
Yeah.
out, right? So 11:55. But here's the thing. Once the reception started, we already knew that there was drama
Trouble.
brewing because there are certain groups of people that don't like other groups of people, and that feeling's mutual, right? But just so happened, the groom belonged to one side and the bride belonged to the other side, okay?
Uh-oh.
So these
So
two
this
groups,
is like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
almost, right? Both of these cultures, they dance very sexily. That's just what they do, right? I'm not being disparaging or anything like that. That's just how they dance, right? So I guess somebody was dancing a little bit too sexy with another
Other
person on the other
sides.
side. Somebody didn't like that. By 11:55, the first punch was thrown, right? And that fight went all the way into the kitchen.
Into the kitchen. Like
Glasses.
storms of people moving in.
Plates shattering. It was I was like,
breaking.
are you kidding me? You guys
We're
kidding?
like 5 minutes.
You got 5 minutes. You guys can keep your shit together for 5 more minutes?
Should have been there.
Did you photograph any of
Everyone
it?
always asks that. But you know what? I got a lot of great dancing pictures. I mean, the pictures.
Oh yeah.
it was
But did
really
you ever
great.
have anybody I guess if anybody was arrested, email you after and be like, hey, do you have
Nobody got
photos of
arrested.
this or
No
that
one,
that
no one
happened?
pressed charges. It was just a fight.
What
You know
venue?
I mean?
Oh, okay.
Venetian.
Oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
classy
then
joint.
and then the owner came out. I think they called the cops.
Mhm.
We were off the clocks. At
I was
that
like,
moment.
okay,
So we're
I
like,
guess.
okay, we
I
don't
guess
want
we're not doing a
anything to do
night
with
shot.
this.
There's no
Yeah.
sparkler
Yeah,
exit.
It sparks fly in the kitchen.
That's usually my question. Like, because it's happened to some photographers where they get contacted or videographer after. Like, do you have photo or video evidence of whatever happened that night?
crime scene.
Like, thankfully, we've never had. I'm not trying to get involved. in
We've
that
gotten
sense.
people not crime, but like people passing out, needing medical. It was a medical emergency. Someone got a heart attack, stroke, that sort of thing. But I don't think, like assault, rape, murder, nothing like that.
I've seen. Well,
Thankfully. I would hope.
I didn't really see assault, but when I worked at a catering hall, I worked in the kitchen. It was a holiday party, and it's like, I don't know, 14, 20 nursing homes that have their party at the venue that I worked at. And I was going to the party was over. I was going to the restroom, and I see this guy. He's arguing with this lady. He threw her down the stairs.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
He I think she attacked him first, and he just like
This old lady attacked.
No,
someone?
she wasn't old. They were like in their 30s, 30, 40s. He was like twice her size, and when she hit him, he just grabbed her and threw her down the stairs.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he got arrested.
That's insane.
Yeah, for assault.
Your crazy wedding stories need to be more.
Yeah.
Uplifting.
Well, this wasn't when I was a photographer. This is when I was working at a venue on their staff.
Can't imagine the crazy things when you see.
Yeah,
But that's your
if you
department from
work-
that. That's
yeah,
your
if you
department from
work
that one,
there.
right? Crazy wedding stories, but maybe not so like. Oh
Violent?
my god! Yeah, maybe not so
So
violent.
Less violent.
I think the only thing that we photographed that was like evidence of if it would have gotten worse was that fire last year.
At Rockley?
Rockley?
No, not that one. It was a very minor fire at a venue. We were at the Barnett Villa Venezia,
Those
and the DJ
feathers,
brought the
what are those
sparklers,
things?
but he put them next to the sweetheart table, which had
Something flammable.
those feathers, whatever they call
the dry, like the floral decor. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and when it whoosh, those
Yeah,
things
yeah.
went
Yep.
up.
Oh my god!
That was also the DJ's surprise gift to the couple.
Yeah,
Oh no!
so that didn't work out well. So we have photos of like it on fire.
Yeah.
We have a photo of like Hector from Naughty Art just like running. He was ready to go.
His camera was next to it on the tripod, so I think he ran over there
So
to
save the camera, not
Yeah.
not the sweetheart table. Speaking of fires, we had 2 fire incidents. Right, there was one we were Karis and I, we were still shooting together. We were shooting at the Tribeca rooftop, right, and the ceremony is about to start. The entrance is about to start, and this was back in the day when we had little earpieces, headpieces, and we would talk to each other throughout the day. Right, isn't that sweet?
So cute. Were you telling her sweet nothings?
Not really. But
Karis yelling
So I
at
was
you
like-
from her.
Mine was never on, so
no, it was. So
It doesn't work.
I was like,
I can't hear you.
I was like, hey, babe, do you
Well, do you
do you
smell,
smell
this?
something smoking?
Right?
Something smoking, right? Something smoking?
And everyone's kind of like, "Oh my god!"
Something smoking.
Right? Something's on fire. And
You know what was on fire?
it was my hair.
Karis's hair was
Oh
on
my
fire.
God.
Just a plume of smoke.
So I was, because the ceremony is about to start, so I'm like against the wall.
But behind
Scandal.
her,
So behind it is window, And on
Ledge.
the windowsill, there's like all these little votive candles. And I'm standing, and my hair was long back then. And then it was like, and I want to so and grandparents are about to enter, come in. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, my hair's on fire. I'm getting it out. And there's like smoke. And then grandparents walking in, they're like, are you okay?
Oh my god.
Where were you?
I was at the front of the front of the
I'm trying
aisle.
to-
She's in the back. I'm in the front.
Yeah.
So I was like, babe, you smell
you
fire. And I
smelled it
smelled it all the way
more-
from there. That means she had been on
Everyone
fire for a
smelled it,
while.
yeah.
She was smoking for a while.
We're like,
If I could smell all the way from
You
the
had to cut your
front.
hair after?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
And
god.
there was another time I was shooting a wedding at a restaurant, and there was this aunt, and she had her back turned to the cocktail table, right? And I shit you not, fire just
Hairspray.
The hairspray. Her hair just went up like at least 1 to 2 feet of flames on top of
Oh
her head,
my
right?
gosh.
I was like, that shit went on fire so quickly. So I started beating her on the head with my hands to put the fire out. You know, like
Hey,
now,
we should've photographed it.
maybe I should have photographed it first. Part of me is like, but I saved a woman's life. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the things that when things happen, you just don't even go into thinking about photographing
Yep,
it. It's
yep.
an emergency or something else happened, or
Yeah.
you go into survivor mode.
Yeah.
You also don't want to be looked at like.
Yeah,
You
people
know.
are going to like,
What the hell is this guy
way.
shooting?
Yeah, it's like how dare this person shoot something's on
what the fuck is
fire.
this guy's problem?
This lady's hair's on fire and this guy's photographing it.
I had a older woman push me and my camera one time at a wedding because I had no idea what was happening. I saw a little kid on the floor, so of course we're in the dance floor. Let me go take pictures of this little kid.
Yeah.
What I did not know was this little kid was looking up the woman's skirt.
Oh.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm snapping from the side, and she just like looks at me and just like mushes me,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What the hell's your problem?"
Yeah.
And then I saw what was happening, and I was like, at that point, like I'm not gonna explain myself. Like
Uh-huh.
I just walked off and
Yeah.
let it be.
But I would have to say the craziest wedding story that I have is it was a destination wedding down in St. John's, drunkest wedding of my career. There was a welcome party the night prior, and they invited us over to hang out with them. But when we arrived, it was a concerned look, like there's something happened, right? So
People are on the driveway.
and so I was continuing walking down this driveway, and I looked up. There's a Jeep Wrangler in the trees.
So what?
On the trees.
A Jeep Wrangler on the trees.
Did we never tell you this story?
How did
No.
that get?
Yeah.
How did the Jeep get in the trees?
So St. John's.
Are these like shorter trees?
So St. John's is they build houses on like cliffs.
On hills.
Oh, so it went off the cliff into a tree,
Yep.
and you guys
Uh-huh.
were in the level
Yep,
below.
So we drove into the driveway, and then all these, friends, groomsmen, they're all like really worried in the driveway, like running around back and forth, looking down over the cliff. We're like, what's going on? And then so a drunk friend
Sold the groom's
Yeah.
car. Drove it off a cliff.
got actually first first car he saw, grabbed the key, started driving out the driveway, and went straight into the cliff. Thankfully, there was a tree that
That broke his-
caught the
caught the car.
and him. So thankfully, he was okay. But yeah,
So then they called the
How do you
towing.
get down from there?
So the towing company, they called the towing company. They're like, oh yeah, this happens all the time. They pulled him out. They pulled him out of
it
the
was
tree.
yeah. Well,
The thing
I
is, in
think-
St. John's, I don't know if you guys know this. It's American cars on British roads, right? So if you guys are on, like,
So you're driving on the opposite
you
side.
drive on the opposite side, but you're in an American car. See, the thing is, if you're driving a British car on UK roads,
You're also on the
On the other
opposite.
so
side,
you're
right?
kind of like, all right, I'm on the wrong side, right? But when you're in an American car,
on the other
on
side.
the other side, it's like,
So
all right,
confusing.
what
Yeah,
side am I
yeah.
supposed to be on? You know what I mean?
So and he was they were super drunk.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but thankfully he was alive, and so they got him out of the car. The car was still there. They got him out of the car.
And they beat the shit out of
Yeah,
him.
they were like angry. Yeah.
They started attacking him.
Yeah, they're like,
This was like day before the wedding.
what the hell's your problem?
Imagine he
Oh my
like
God.
died day before the wedding.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean?
The wildest
So
thing.
yeah, the following day at the wedding,
He was
didn't
all,
drink.
he
this
was all
guy
dressed
was
up.
just
He was
this
Sober.
guy had a like bruise on his face, like in the corner, like really, really.
He looked like he
looking-
got
yeah,
caught with his hand in a cookie jar.
yeah.
shame.
Yep.
Shame.
Shame.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So that, these are the crazy wedding stories I like to hear. you
Yeah.
know? Do you guys have any crazy wedding stories?
Not really.
No, I've heard some crazy ones, but we've never been fortunate enough to witness
Yeah.
Crazy.
some of these odd things.
But you know what, guys? For all the listeners out there, if you guys have a crazy wedding story you'd like to share with us,
Yes.
you'd like us to share
hit us up.
on the podcast, you guys can reach us at
Focused.
hello@focused-af.com. What's that email again?
hello@focus-af.com.
Hello.
Yeah, guys. Just submit your stories there, and we'll read it on the air. We'll share it with our audience.
Yes.
Be fun stuff.
Love to hear it. A question, throwing it out there. What is your thought on non-white wedding dress?
Oh, I like them.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I
like
like 'em too.
off color. Have you guys?
you just had one. You had like a pink one, right?
Yeah, that's why
That
it
was really
came out.
pretty.
As long as it's
That was
not.
my first non-white dress. Other than like ivory, off-white. But like
Yeah. We had
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that was like a little tie-dyed.
tie-dye.
That threw her off for a little bit. But I kind of like them.
Yeah.
Didn't we have somebody recently
No.
that had a different color,
No.
different shade, maybe?
No.
Yeah, different shade, not like ivory or off-white, but like blue or
Different-
like
different color.
like
Just
color.
not white.
Yeah.
Like distinctively different
I like
color.
something different as
Yeah.
long as it's like doesn't look like a sweet 16 dress
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a prom dress.
Or quinceañera dress?
A quinceañera dress, something tasteful. Because
Yeah.
if you once you look into the other colors, like
That's how you build a
sometimes you can tell
portfolio.
it's like a prom dress.
Yeah,
or,
yep.
Just make it black and white. Nobody knows
I
if
like-
it's a quinceañera dress.
I like when it's like a nice soft pink.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. I think soft pink was very in for a while, and then I just read that blue, like light blue tone-ish wedding dress is in for 2020.
No, white
I
wedding
like
dresses
that.
have only been around for since Queen Victoria. That's only 150 years old.
Actually, I second shot a wedding with a soft pink dress.
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a newish thing.
Pink,
It's
yeah,
not. It's
pink was cute.
human civilization's been around much longer than that.
Yeah.
But I would like to photograph like maybe like a whitish dress with like pops of color, like
Yeah.
floral, different floral.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those would be pretty.
So
if you are a bride,
yeah, I was gonna say that. If you
Reach out.
reach out to
Not
heyparents.com. Actually, reach out to all of us. grphoto.com.
Yes.
And,
We will welcome you.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess mine's going to be also really short, business tips and strategies and things like that, right? So I was recently lightly chastised for not having my phone number out there in the universe for my business. They're like, man, why don't you have your phone number out there? You're losing out on a lot
Who
of potential
chastises
business,
you?
right? Well, I don't know if I can say. She's very well known.
Tell me after, because I have everyone knows my feelings about phone numbers.
Yeah.
So
and
she
phone
called.
calls.
So actually, she called me on the
Don't
phone. She's
call
like,
me.
"Hey, listen, Ben. I got your number because I have your number from years ago, right? But I was going to refer business to you, but you don't have your phone number anywhere. And like, how are my referrals supposed to reach out to you?" And I was like,
Email.
so that's what I
What-
said. I was like,
what is this?
I'm-
1990?
Yeah.
So I was
Email.
like, I'm very easy to find online, and these days they can find me easily on social media and stuff. This phone number. And the other thing is, I was like, lady, I could be working, I could be out shooting, I could be out with on a meeting or whatever
Yeah.
it is. If they called me, I wouldn't be able to pick up anyway,
Anyway,
right?
Yep.
They're like, well, they can leave a voicemail. I was like, well, I don't know that I missed a call. I don't use my phone that way, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one.
Oh no,
You know what I mean?
Everyone knows I refuse to pick up the phone.
Yeah. Who,
So
who
actually-
calls these days?
So she's like, you're missing out on a lot of business. Just
Telemarketers.
telling you, right? So I'm
And
thinking.
family.
So this was actually one of the topics that I covered yesterday during my live. I was like, guys, and I'm an old millennial. Believe it or not, I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
I'm a very old millennial, right? I'm at the very tippity tip.
You're borderline.
Borderline Gen X, right?
Yeah.
So like, even myself, I don't like talking on the phone. If they
No,
need something,
yeah.
just email me, text me, message me, whatever it
Yes.
is. You know what I mean? And that way, at least on the client side of things, they're reaching out to me 2:00 in the middle of the night. They just have a question. They can text me, write me, or whatever it is, and I'll get to them the following morning or whatever it is. They don't feel so weird doing it. As opposed to them waiting for business hours for them to reach out to me. And even during those business hours, I might be in a meeting, I might be shooting, or whatever it is, right? So I'm looking at it from a client's experience perspective. Like I think it's much better for them to just text me, message
Yeah, and
me,
I think
whatever.
it's respectful of other person's time and what they're doing too. They're not
Randomly calling. Like
calling
it's
and
I feel like the people who complain about not having phone numbers or finding phone numbers or whatever, they complain about this phone number issue. They tend to be an older generation, usually
Oh,
Gen
yeah.
X or older.
They probably
Yeah.
still have a Rolodex.
they have to understand like our clientele now, or they will just DM you or text you or email you.
Yeah, even DMing me, like I don't. It's okay. I prefer email or text.
email.
Yeah, I'll
is the
redirect them
best.
to
Yep.
email.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because even if they reach out to me on IG or whatever, I will kind of coax them or kind of
To
guide them
email,
towards
yep.
email or something. Because the reason for that is I don't want to be checking three different
Different
channels of
source.
communication. And also, the reason why I like written form of communication is it allows me to have a paper trail. I can
Yes.
screenshot stuff, whatever. Because otherwise, anything that I say during a consult or anything that I say during a phone call, they're like, "Oh, you promised me this, you promised me that, whatever." Like, you know, I don't want to have to deal with that headache.
At the start of the conversation, you are being recorded.
For training purposes.
For training and quality control, you are being recorded. Yeah, but that's my training, sales and marketing.
Yeah,
Hot topic for me.
don't call me.
I actually have a bigger problem of someone trying to pass off their Instagram page as a website or a portfolio. The phone number thing is like, come on.
I know somebody who does that.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you the name after we start recording.
I have
Somebody
a bigger
we know.
issue with that than someone not having their phone number on their site.
Just build a website. It doesn't take anything to build a website.
Nowadays, yep.
But you know what? There are a lot of people that sustain their businesses on their Instagram alone, and their SEO and their website sucks. So
Younger generation.
yeah, there's some people they have a very sustainable business just on IG alone. I'm not going to knock them. Do whatever works. You know, maybe I'm the one who's behind.
Well, depends who. If it's an influencer, yeah, fine. But if it's a local photographer trying to build their business and you're sending me a freaking Instagram page,
I'm not a
like,
pretty
come on.
girl or a puppy, so it's gonna be hard for me to win on any of those accounts.
Mukbang.
Mukbang, just eat in front of people, right? All right.
Well,
anything else we want to cover today?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah, we covered a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think we were very focused AF. Well, semi-focused AF this episode.
A little bit
Our
better.
producer
We
will
were
edit out all the other stuff. But
I don't think we were focused at all.
the
I
end
think,
product should sound very focused AF. So were you guys focused AF today?
Yes.
I was focused.
Yeah,
on
I was
today,
pretty
yeah.
focused
I was
today.
focused.
Actually, no, I'm not because I basically recorded this entire session blind as a bat. So
They will never know.
yeah,
No one
literally
will know.
Both
unfocused.
cameras will be out of focus now.
We should be okay. We should be okay.
Well, that was another episode of Focus AF.
So, if you guys would like to check out our bloopers and behind the scenes and all that good stuff, you guys can follow us on Instagram at focused.af. You guys can also check out all of our latest episodes and what we do back here on our website at focused-af.com.
And that's it, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
We are Focused AF.
We're Focused AF.
This is Ben.
This is Karis.
This is Ro.
And this is Jen.
Adios.
Bye.
Laters. Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams, Ben and Karis.
And Jen and Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you Focused AF?
I am focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be Focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.